Hi everyone, Martin here from martinsmayhem.blogspot.com. I hope you are well. So today's card is a super cute card that you see here. Lots of detail happening and a lot simpler than you might think. So shall we get started? We are using the Tea Together stamp set, which I love. You know I love it because you've seen me use it plenty of times in plenty of videos. Right, let's move the stamp set out of the way. And move the card over. Oh, a bit breathless, God knows why. And I'm going to bring in a standard C6 size card, and that is in... oh, what colour is it? I've got the Mossy Meadow, that's the one. So it's this beautiful green tone. It's so pretty. I love Stampin' Up colours. I think they just work so well. Right, so shall we get started with the main focal point of this card, which is these roses. Aren't they pretty? So I am using blends, and let me see if I've got in here. So you can see the blends that I've done before using red tones are completely different. I think this one has more of a watercolour effect, and I'm going to show you how that's done. If you wanted to see how this one's done, that I have a video available on my channel, and as you can see I like to keep a little stack of them readily available to cut out when I need to. So I have already pre-done a lot of the elements because obviously you don't have all day. So a lot of them are already done, all the little fiddly bits and one of the roses, and I'm going to show you how to do one now. Let me see if I can zoom in. Here we go. Actually, zoom back out just a little bit. So I'm using blends, and the colours I'm using are going to be Mossy Meadow and Dark Real Red, both dark. Mossy Meadow, Real Red. That way would be easier, like so. As well as Colour Lifter. So this is a brilliant tool, which I think is highly overlooked. Yes, okay, it's great if you've made a mistake and you want to take it off, take some of the blending away. However, I'm going to show you a fun technique that hopefully will get you all purchasing the Colour Lifter, as it's super fun. You will need a scrap just to do some doodling on. Okay, so shall we get started? Let's bring that in. So I'm going to start with the Real Red, and I'm using the pen tip over the brush tip, and the reason for that is that you get a hell of a lot more control. So you see the tip and this tip, you're going to touch them, but you want the one, so I want this to absorb the colour, so I'm going to have this down and then this pointing downwards, and that just allows the flow of the alcohol ink into it, like so. So as you can see there, the tip has absorbed that, and all this is going to do is allow us to create a little gradient of colour. Like so. So you see how it's slightly darker and then slightly lighter. You can always go back in if you feel like it's too or not enough of a gradient. You just need to remember that this is going to become less Real Red and more Colour Lifter. So you can't go bottom, top, back to bottom, because then you're going to lighten this bit too much to this bit and it's going to look a bit backwards. So again, just restock, and the longer you hold that there, the more it absorbs. So for these teeny tiny ones in the centre, I'm not going to need as much. So as you can see there, it hasn't worked as perfectly as I wanted to. So I'm just going to quickly dab that on. And then just go back in here and blend it out. Okay. So it is worth saying that the rose is heat embossed in Whisper White. So it's stamped with vellum and then heat set with Whisper White embossing powder. So that gives you the lines in which to work in. However, as you can see, I've gone onto it and I'm going to show you a neat trick afterwards so you can tidy it up, which means you don't have to be perfect straight away, which I know is a blessing in disguise sometimes. So I'm just going to work around, go in dark to light, like so, and I can just quickly pop in here, do some light colour on teeny tiny bits just to fill it out, like so. And you're just going to repeat this until you're happy with it. I will say the larger leaves are slightly difficult, slightly more tricky, so I do recommend you taking your time. Maybe even have a practice at this technique before actually giving it a go, because as you can see there, it doesn't always work perfectly first time. It's not as smooth. So all I'm going to do then is top it back up, go back in and blend out. Oh, that was close. And you can just repeat until such time as you're happy. Okay, so I'm going to leave that one as it is and move on. Zoom in a little bit just so you can see. So what this colour lifter does, I don't know if you've seen the chameleon pens, but they basically work the exact same way as these ones. And I don't know about you, but if you've got these in your cupboard, use these instead. What's the point in buying something else when you've already got it readily available? True. Don't keep topping it up. Do not stress about your tip either, because as I'll show you in a second, it's so easy just to remove all of that colour that you're putting into it. And yes, okay, it is a very time-consuming technique. But honestly, look at the outcome. Once it's all complete, it's so soft and subtle. It's just so pretty. I think it's really worth it. You can do this. Oh, stammering. Do this in reverse, so you can go. Put the colour lifter onto your real red, so like this way, like so. And if I bring in my strap, you'll see that it just goes light to dark. So you can do vice versa. So you can see here, I practice with the Mossy Meadow. And I know this one's looking a mess so far, but I promise it does all come together. So again, just filling it up, working round like so, and again. Making sure I'm still in the camera. Just see what I mean about these larger areas. You just have to do it bit by bit, but you'll see that the blend is still okay. I just think it looks really whimsical, and really soft, subtle. I want to say like stained glass, but I don't think it is. I think it is more of a watercolour look. Okay. So all I'm going to do is just draw down a little bit. And as you can see, it goes clear. Yes, okay, the tip is still a little bit pink, but that's not going to affect the colour. And as you can see, let me just, where it's heat embossed and I've gone over, I can just go over them lines with my marker and pick up that ink. Like so. Rub it off. And it does go a bit pink to start with, the embossed areas, but you just go over them again. So you can see this area, you can't even see that line, but just rub this over. And I'm literally just following the embossed line, so I'm not going back into our coloured in area. Like so. Can I get any closer to that, do you think? No, that's it. So it is super pretty. Zoom in and just show me, I need to do this bit. And it's super fun, but it's worth it. So let me zoom back out. And let's move on to the leaves, which are a hell of a lot quicker, believe me. So I know I've got no more real red in my colour lifter, so I'm just going to bring in my Mossy Meadow and absorb a little bit, and as you can see, it's gone green. And I found it absorbs a lot of the Mossy Meadow, so depending on how vibrant you want it, depends on how long you do it for, but you might also just want to tap it off like I did there, just so it's a little bit softer. And again, just do a little bit, tap it off a little bit, then go back into my leaves like so. And because there's still quite a bit of ink, I'm just going to go in and just do this little one like so, and then finally just top it up a little bit once more and do this final leaf. So that's a bit lighter than the others, so I'm just going to go back in and just darken that up like so. Do you see how fun this technique is? And you know what? It saves you buying them chameleon pens, I think they're called. And I just think it's such a better way of using your blends, and it's a different way. You saw at the beginning that they were completely different to just the solid blends blending out, and I think it's super fun. So let's construct the card. So move that over, bringing in our card base. I've got a strip of vellum, and that's just 1 centimetre by 21. And I'm just going to fold that in half, roughly like so. And this is when I need to find my paper snips. I'm going to cut at an angle both ends. Like that. They're rubbish, they can go in the bin. So we've got these 2 little bits that's going to help create the cross. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in my snail and just do a little line like so, and I'm just going to angle this as I want it. So I want one longer than the other, and I'm just going to pop that down and in place. So that will stick the bottom one, but because I know I like that place, I'm going to hold one with my finger. Oh, it's actually caught there. So I'm going to hold it here and just go back in with my snail and knock that down. I've also taken a sentiment from the Strong and Beautiful stamp set, and it is the, where is it? You have what it takes to be unstoppable, and I couldn't be more proud. This is a wonderful stamp set, and I absolutely adore it. And I'm going to take the storytelling punch and just punch that sentiment out like so. I love our punches. They're super easy to use, and they're just great. So I'm going to grab some dimensionals, which I've just hidden with the punch. And I'm just going to pop one either side, like so. And I'm just going to pop that between the 2 pieces of vellum. Easy, right? And then it's all about constructing our flurry of flowers. And this is where you can go more, less, up, down, sideways, backwards, whichever way that you like. So just mess around, pop them wherever. Oh no, I forgot to stamp. Oh, okay. Before you do that, if you can see in the background, I stamped the little leaves in the coordinating ink. So I'm going to grab in my Mossy Meadow, and all I'm going to do is randomly stamp this down like so. Ooh. Can I just lift this without damaging it? Yeah. Oh, guys, do this before you stick things down. You can't even see that one. What was the point? Put one here to compensate. Or just as and where, really. There's no particular order. But now that's done, you don't need to damage your flowers like I have. So back to building your beret of flowers. Put that back that way. Like so. Pop in smaller dimensionals on the backs of these roses, just so they can sit in place. And on the back of the leaves. So I've done 3 roses, 3 leaves, and 2 flowers, which you can obviously add more, add less, whatever you see fit. You might think, oh god, that's way too busy. Tone it back, Martin. And that's fine. Sometimes I do need to tone it back. Tone it back. You know that OTT cousin that we all see at a party and we're like, no, don't want to see you, you're annoying me. Oh, that's me. Luckily I don't speak to my cousins. And there you go, you know my life story now if you've made it this far. So just finishing it off by popping in the leaves. And then we're going to finish with some gems. Okay. So with the gems, I'm going to take a big one, pop it down, and then accompany it with a smaller one. Like so. So big one, little one, and then just medium ones to the side. Because I'm being strict on myself and telling myself I have to use the more larger size ones. And there you have today's card. I hope you enjoyed today's card. While you're here, why not pop into the description bar below, where a full list of the items are available, as well as links to my online shop as to where you can purchase them. While you're down there, like, comment and subscribe, and why not share to your social media so everybody can see how super quick and fun this technique is. I'll see you around. Bye.